Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, Internet. Welcome. Welcome to the end of week seven. The end of week seven of NL Math Man's Math Help Streams. I'm cleaning off a little bit of, I'm a bit paranoid. Maybe I've got some noodle soup residue in my beard. Just getting rid of the last of my lunch. Wasn't anything special today. It was just a pack of Mr. Noodles with some sambal olek, sort of chili paste thrown in for some kick. Um, yeah, so in the background here for today, we're seeing another pick of the cabin. This one is lost to the sands of time, sort of in more ways than one, right? This exact vista doesn't really exist anymore because of the landscaping that was done. I think just like a day or two after this picture was taken is when the landscaping was done. It still looks really nice out there, I imagine. I went and planted grass. I am eager to get back out to see what that grass looks like. However, I do have some bad news, although bad news for just me, that I'm not going to be getting out to the cabin this weekend, right? Because, like I said, my parents went out there a few days ago, and yeah, the road is apparently terrible. Terrible, garbage, horrible, terrible. So, yeah, I guess this May 2/4 or May 1/8 weekend, I'm going to be chilling at the apartment, I suppose. You know, playing video games and I don't know, cooking. I'll cook something nice. But anyway, yeah, this is a nice summertime pick of the cabin. We got, of course, we've got some clothes drying on the line as you do, right? What a very idyllic and pastoral sort of Newfoundland scene with a clothesline with some towels hanging from it. I mean, obviously, right? Or sheets in the wind. You know. We also, an eagle-eyed viewer, will also notice my barbecue or a barbecue. It's a bullet style smoker. That one's not actually or is it a Weber? No, I don't think that one's a Weber. I think it's just like a knockoff Weber lookalike. But you can see that they're sort of directly above my head now. Now that I turn to the side, it's directly above me. Like what? Up there. Good day. Yes. Good day, Esther. How you doing? Yeah, I'm going to do a few topics for your courses today. I'm going to mention using online loan calculators again. Um, I didn't mean to get to that one first. Maybe I'll get to that one second after I do the one for Betty Ann. I have a topic for Renetta to go over as well, but I know she's not going to be making it today. So, yeah, I'm not under any pressure to do hers first. I'll just link her the video afterwards. Yeah, you can see my bullet smoker there going. I know it's a little bit close to the cabin, but you know, it's a low and slow kind of smoke, right? It's barely having anything coming out. Although we do see and an eagle-eyed viewer may also notice the bottle of lighter fluid left on the rail in this picture, which is maybe not the safest thing in the world. Rest assured, I went and removed it afterwards. I don't just leave those out, right? Of course. You know, I've taught OH&S before, right? Like, come on. How am I supposed leaving lighter fluid out on the rail? Boy, hope someone got fired for that blunder. I got get fired for my job doing the barbecuing at the cabin. I don't think I could get fired for that one. From that one. Let's take another. Let's take seeing I'm pining for the fjords, pining for being out there. Let's take a look. Take a look at this. Oh look, now we're seeing the inside. I'm gonna see a little quick look at the inside of the cabin. Look at that. This is a pic from a while back too. There's been a lot of changes done. Boy, when we got the cabin, or when my parents got the cabin, I mean, because they've done like the lion's share of the work out there. Though, you know, I've done a reasonable amount, especially with the landscaping. But yeah, when they first got this cabin, like the roof wasn't done, although you can't see the roof in this picture. The floor wasn't done. The floor was like unfinished. They had to jack up the cabin and like put more rocks underneath. Like I mentioned before, like cinder blocks. They had the cinder blocks put down like a stencil, so it was cutting into the ground instead of pushing against the ground. Right? You know, I mean, surface area, right? Like you're supposed to use the side with more surface area in order to give you support, not less. Right? We see the wood stove over there. That was there. That was there when they got it. But yeah, the floor was different. The walls were different. The roof was different. Boy, there's been a lot of work put in. Oh yeah, and over to the right you would see the cabinets too. I don't have many pics. I noticed. I don't have many pics of the inside of the cabin, so I'm not. I don't have a ton that I could show off. I can though. You see that chair over on the left in the middle, sort of the Yeah, the middle left, I'm going to zoom in on that. Watch this. Watch me zoom in. Zoom. There we go. There we go. Oh, how sweet. How sweet. Let me remove my topic so I can see Smokey's face. There he is. Little bunny. That's Sissy's chair. All right. Everyone knows that chair belongs to Flurry. That's hers. You don't sit, if you sit in that chair, she'll sometimes come over to you and just sort of sit there and look at you like, what are you doing? Don't you know that's mine? And she just hops up in there and curls up. That's why hence the blanket over it, or the sheet, or the rug. Quilt. That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Quilt really ties the room together. And then little brother was relegated to sitting on the floor in front of it because of Sissy's chair, right? That's not for stinky boys like brother. He's not stinky. He's a very clean doggy. Anyway, back over to my topics. And yeah, let's get into it then. Let's do well, I tell you what, Esther, seeing you're there in chat, right? I'll go ahead and I'll do the using online loan calculators bit first, because you're there for that one, right? So for that, I'm going to look at page 186 in your textbook, and then from that, I'm going to show you how we're going to use this online calculator that I showed you yesterday to solve those types of questions, right? So let me just get some good scrolling noises. Screep. There we go. 186. So, over to my document display here. Oh, straighten up my camera with my paper. There we go. Not bad. Marvelous. Okay. So we see here, we're using technology to determine the monthly payments in each case. Now, tell you what I'm going to do. Just give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second to switch over here. So this is the Chrome window that we're going to be looking at, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to, just on the fly here, like a professional. I'm going to bring this in. All right, so there we go. So now we can see a little glimpse of it here. Above me while we're looking at it over on the side here as well, right? So we see first, we're using technology to determine the monthly payment in each case, right? So we've got a 5-year loan for $24,000 at 0.9%. So I'm just going to write these ones down, right? So this is going to be math 3102B unit 1, like that. And then this is going to be page 186, and then question 1. So A is going to be 5 years for 24,000 at 0.9. Crap, 0.9%. You'd think a math teacher would know what direction the slash goes in the percent sign, right? So I'm just going to write these guys out here alongside, so I have some paper to look off of. Then we're going to go ahead and use this loan calculator to figure out all these. 4 years, and the same, 2,400 at 24,000, 0.9%. C is 5 years, 12,500 at 6.9%. Then we've got D is going to be 5 years, 500 at 3.4%. Okay, so now we're going to use our calculator, this loan calculator, and we're going to get all of these totals here. This one, this one, this one, and this one for the monthly payments, right? And you can see it above me here. Now it might not. It's not super clear because it's a little small. So let me zoom in a touch more here on my Chrome window. Okay, that's a bit better. Yeah, we can see that a bit better here now. So now we can see the sort of the previous one that I was doing. Oh, let me just. I wasn't super prepared for this scene, so I've got to move my paper around a bit. Okay. So now the loan amount, right? So now I'm just going to show you basically how we're going to fill this one here with the info that we have. So I'll just slide this aside. I'll move it back over when I'm back to solving those. Get my keyboard. So now our loan amount, it's a 5-year loan, 24. So we know it's 24,000, right? So we're just going to plug that here, 24,000 into this one. So our interest rate is 0.9, right? You see it updating up there. Now terms in months, what are we going to put in for this? Right, well, we had to do our terms in months for this calculator that we're using, excuse me. So it's a 5-year loan. 5 times 12 is, of course, 60. So we have 60 months. And then, oh, didn't mean to click on that. There we go. So you see what it says up here? Your $24,000 loan has a loan payment of $409.22. Okay, so over on my sheet over here, let me move this guy up a bit. There we go. So over on my sheet here now, I've got 409.22 per month. Right? So that's all we've got to do for that. All right, so now I'm going to carry on and do the rest of those. So 4 years. Everything else is the same, but now they're asking us for 4 years instead. So I'm going to go over here now. 4 years is, of course, 48 months. So I just plug that in, hit enter, and you'll see it just automatically changes, right? Look it up here. Right, see, it went ahead and changed right away. 509.24. So this is all we've got to do with this calculator, right? Okay, let's do the rest of them. 5 years, okay, so now the loan amount changes. Now it's 12.5. Does tab work here, I wonder? Tab sort of works. Now interest is, see, 6.9%. And the term in months is, this one's a 5-year loan, so we're back to 60. Back to 60 months, so I'm going to hit enter. There we go. So, see up at the top there, your $12,500 loan has a payment of $246.93. So that's all I got to do. $246.93. Just in there, just like that. Easy peasy, right? And then what else do we need? 5 years at the same amount. Okay, same amount, 5 years, but a much lower interest rate. Okay, so this is going to be a 3.4%. So lower interest rate, what should we see? Right, and you notice I haven't really been focusing on the, there it goes, 226.84. I haven't really been focusing on the math concepts, more so just how we use this calculator for right now, right? But of course you're seeing, and I mean, people will know generally this anyway, right? That a lower interest rate results in a lower payment, of course, right? Or as we see here, a shorter loan results in a larger payment, of course, because if it's a shorter loan, you've got to pay the loan off faster, which means you got to pay more each time, right? But generally, you know, this is the kind of math that people tend to be pretty familiar with, right? So, you know, this course is a little bit of a reward, I suppose, for getting through some of the esoteric, some of the weird, like, why am I ever going to need this again math? You know, when we're talking about loan payments and mortgage payments and stuff, like that's real shit, right? People got to do that stuff. So, but generally, you know, people are already familiar with the sort of the basic ways that it works, right? A shorter loan means a bigger payment. A higher interest rate means a higher payment. You know, it's fairly intuitive. But let's calculate the total cost of each loan in number 1. Okay, so for number 2 now, I can actually get rid of my calculator. Right, so that is that window capture, and now we see, haha, you see a little peek behind the curtain there. I had to rearrange my desktop a little bit, my literal desktop, to fit that in. Uh, okay, so now for B. Oh boy, my vanishing blue pins. Ah, here it is. Okay, now B is asking us to find the total cost of each loan in one. Now, of course, the total cost of a loan is going to be the monthly payment just times by the number of months, right? So that's, you know, right? So then for A, I'm going to go through. I'll do I'll do the four of these, and then I'll show you. There's another bit that you're frequently asked to do that I will show you just afterwards. But for A, then of course it's going to be 409.22 times, that's 5 years, times 60. 409.22 times 60 is 24,553.20. Right? I'll put in 0.20 because it's money. Right? And I'm also, like I mentioned, I'm also going to find over here in green, I'm going to find the total interest paid. Now your questions in this book, this exact question doesn't ask you to do this, but it's a super common thing to see, and you are going to have to do it in a lot of the questions that you do, especially on your tests. Like your tests and your assignments will usually always put this part in there. So to find the interest paid, interest is just equals total minus initial, right? Or the total that you pay minus the amount that you borrowed, right? Because say for this one here, they borrowed $24,000, they paid 553. So the interest is going to equal 24,533.2 minus 24,000, which is going to equal quite clearly $533.20. Now, you may ask yourself, how does someone get, how did I get here? You may, you may ask yourself, why is it such a low amount of interest? Well, it's because this was a 0.9% loan, right? No, loans are 0.9%. That's absurd. No loans are 0.9%. Like I got a mortgage when mortgage rates were almost as low as they have been like in recent memory in Canada, and it was like 2.3%, right? I think somewhere in that ballpark, right? 0.9% is that's really low. But I mean, maybe you'd see it as like a promotional deal for some cars or something like that, where they're already making money off of it, and the interest is not the only way they're making money off you, right? But when you're talking about a mortgage or something, right, and the mortgage lender, they're not making money off the sale of the house per se. They're just making money off the interest. So you're gonna get a lot more than 0.9%. But anyway, just gonna work with what we're given here. So I'm gonna carry on and do the rest of these ones. Like I said, I'm going to do total cost, but then I'm also going to do the total interest because, like I said, you are going to be asked to do that quite frequently. So 509.24 times 48. So I might not do all of these because this is relatively straightforward, I think. You don't have to put the comma. You don't have to put the comma in the numbers, but I like to do that. It does get a bit confusing though, right? When you're moving between Europe and North America, or even Europe and UK, right? Because English-speaking countries tend to use the commas to separate three digits, and then use the decimal as a period. But then a lot of European nations or like French speaking, I know for sure, use a comma over here instead of the decimal, and then I believe they use a space instead of the comma over here, right? I do like the space instead of the comma. I find that to be fairly intuitive in typing, but in handwriting, it's a bit unwieldy. I don't know. Maybe they use something other than a space. Maybe I've been misinformed with that one. I've never taught in a language other than English. But anyway, so now we're going to have interest is equal to 24,443.52 minus 24,000. So obviously this is 443.52. Fairly straightforward stuff. I'll go ahead and do part C as well, just because C actually shows a loan more like the ones that you're going to see on your tests and stuff. So it's going to be 246.93 times 60, because it's 5 years. 246.93 times 60. 14,815.80. So then C, I'm going to do the interest. Now, Esther, if you're still there, let me know if there's any ones that you would like me to cover on here. The main reason I'm talking about your material again is mostly to talk about the online calculator, to show you again basically how you use it. But it is fairly intuitive, right? It's made to be user friendly. So hopefully this is making some sense. And like I said before, like the math, the actual number crunching in this unit is not super difficult, and the concepts are fairly intuitive. So they're, a lot easier to learn, really, right? Because if there's stuff for me to scaffold off of, if we're using teacherly lingo, right? I mean, real talk. That is one of the things about teaching, this sort of material to adults, that the scaffolding is a lot different than teaching it to kids. But it does mean that sometimes when you get to some topics like this, like loan payments, that scaffolding for adults is like super easy, because like everybody's heard, had loans or various, payments they had to make before. So okay, let's scroll down a little bit. Let's look at question 4 here. Question 4 is a good one, like I always say. It's a good one because it's very similar to questions that you're going to see during this course, right? So let's just work down through this one, and excuse me. Yeah, we'll see when and how we have to use that online calculator. So for A, what's the total cost of this car, including taxes? Standard vehicle price, freight, and PDI. License not taxable. Okay, so the license part is not taxable, but the other two parts are. You do have to pay tax on the freight charge, I imagine. So to find the pre-tax amount, I'm going to add the vehicle price and the freight and PDI. Now, a lot of the math in this unit is just sort of straightforward number crunching. That's arithmetic. And you can never be too humble when it comes to calculator use. Like, don't be too proud to take the calculator out and pop numbers in. But I mean, a 5-digit or 4-digit addition like that, I'm not gonna risk doing that one off the top of my head. So for A, we've got that is the pre-tax income. Now I'm going to tax it, and we're told to use, I believe we're told to use 13% for tax in all of these. Now that's a bit wishful thinking, because of course you and I both know that we have 15% tax now in Newfoundland, not 13. But we'll carry on doing the 13. Now sometimes people will show you to times it by 0.13 and then add. You could, but it saves time. I believe I explained this to you before, but I may not have. I explained this to every student at least a dozen times. I'm going to say at least once, but I say everything. It's not because of the student. It's just because Peter likes to repeat himself. If we times it by 1.13, what that does is it adds the 13% on for us, right? Because timesing by 1 is the same as 100%. And of course, 100% of anything is itself, right? What's 100% of 25,000? Well, it's 25,000. But this is basically 113%, which means we're increasing it by 13%. So it's adding the tax on for us. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 1.13, and I'm going to get 29137.05. And now we have to add in the licensing fee. So 29137.05 plus 140 is going to equal 29277.05. So there we go. So in A, that is the cost of the car. Hello, Slayer Darth. Yes, good morning. Or afternoon. Or evening. I don't know where you are. Night? Practicing factoring quadratics last night. Did very well. Oh, great. Yes, factoring quadratics is a topic that comes up quite a lot in the program. Just so happens that none of my students are doing it currently, but there's like a solid 3 courses that delve pretty deeply into it. So I think there's a student that'll get to quadratics, factoring quadratics pretty soon. Actually, I think Betty Ann might be her next course. Oh, 4 minutes till 5 p.m. Oh, yes. Okay. Right. You're in probably UK or I believe you said you're in the UK before because you did mention GCSE past papers, which yeah would mean in UK and I believe in England specifically, right? Because I only taught in England. I don't know if Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland do GCSEs. I assume they do. I don't know. Those are different education systems. Anyway, I have a lot of tips and tricks for factoring quadratics. Oh, great! Yeah, yeah. It's all about seeing those little tricks when you go through, right? Like the difference of 2 squares is a little trick that you can spot to save yourself some work, or you can just break out the good old standard, the quadratic formula, right? None of the other countries in the Union matter, Kappa. Yeah, exactly, right? Right? Like England is like what? That's like 80% of the population or something. Don't pay attention to them. Yeah, that's pretty harsh, but I mean, real talk, right? I mean, England is just like bedroom communities of London, right? This is what about this like North and like Manchester and Lake District and stuff. No, it's all just London. It's just one big city. There's no West Country, or I don't know. When I was there, teachers told me that I should go to the Lake District. They said it was very nice place to vacation, but I never did. I never did make it there before I came back. It's not to say I'll never make it there. I'll probably be back in the UK sometime. Maybe not to live, but to visit for sure. Yes, Jill will lease the car for 48 months. Her monthly payment will be $324.18 plus taxes. What is the total monthly payment? Oh, well, okay. So they're telling us what the monthly payment is. So all we got to do is add the taxes on. Well, that's easy. So that's 324.18 times 1.13, because again, right, we're timesing by 1.13 because that's 113%. So we've increased it by 13% to account for the taxes that we had years ago. I mean, I could change the taxes to 1.15 for us, right? But then all the numbers in your textbook are going to be off a bit. One of my old friends from school said his father's from Manchester. Father met an American tourist once, so that's where he's from. He said, Manchester, the American asked. So where in London is that? Yeah. That's about right. I can see that. All right. 366.32. Before getting the car, Jill must pay delivery fees of that much, plus the first month's payment. How much will she pay when she receives the car? Boy, oh boy. Boy, these are some real. Is this some almost like. I don't know. It's almost insulting to have to do these, isn't it? This is a bit rudimentary. But anyway, I'm going to keep working on through them. Students are told to do them, so teachers are going to do them. Delivery fee of that much plus her first month's payment. So her first month's payment is going to be 366.32, just like we just wrote out. And then we're going to add in her delivery fee of 156.95. How much does she pay when she receives the car? Well, that's going to be this much, I guess. Plus 156.95. 523.27. There we go. Let's see. D. How much will Jill have to pay for the car at the end of 48 months, including the upfront costs? Okay, well, that's just going to be 48 monthly payments, right? So that's going to be 48 times 366.32, which is going to equal. Oh, I'm running out of space. I gotta stop cramming all my stuff together like this. I mean, using different colors at least lets us tell it apart. But my goodness. And then it was how many months? 48, right? There we go. There we go. That much money. So now, what else we have? Including the upfront costs. We're going to have to add in the freight and PDI, add in the license, and that should be it. Yes. I was wondering why she would have money, why it doesn't equal more than the cost of the car, but actually we're going to get to that in part E, aren't we? So it's going to be plus $13.95 and plus oh, that $13.95 actually does have tax, doesn't it? Plus $13.95 times 1.13 plus the untaxable 140. That's going to equal $13.95 times 1.13, to add the taxes on that plus the 140, and add that to the 17,583.36. Really riveting sort of number crunching here. This is 19,299.71. Never bought a car before, so not sure if I have to pay the dealership for a pre-delivery inspection or not. Yeah, I don't here anyway. I think if it's a new vehicle, you don't need to pay for inspection, but for used vehicles, you definitely do. Yeah, I've always bought used vehicles, and I've always paid for an inspection at the start. That is one thing that I miss about UK for sure, is the transit system. I was just thinking about that the few days ago, actually. Yeah, how in Canada, when I've lived here, I've always had a car because it's nigh impossible to get by without a car unless you're living in, I guess, like, unless you're living in Toronto or Montreal maybe, or somewhere like that. But when I was in UK, even at two different places, I never had a car and never really missed it. Right, even though I was like, 30-minute train ride from London, so definitely not in the city. The transit was still pretty good, and in London proper, I mean, Oyster card and way to go, right? Like the transit is great. But yeah, new cars depreciate way too quickly. Absolutely, they do. Yeah, I mean, a car is never an investment unless you're using it for your work. Like if you're buying I don't know, a truck to bring stuff around, or to, I don't know, taxi car to be a taxi driver. I don't know. Like unless you're using it for work, a car is never an investment. So I figure just get something relatively cheap that runs, and just drive it until it stops running. It's kind of what I did with my last car. I had this Pontiac G5. It's an American car, so it's crap already right off the start, right? But the rocker panels, like on the bottom of it, just rusted completely out of the vehicle. Because in Newfoundland, we've got so much like salt on the roads, and that the cars rust out pretty well, pretty fast. And this one was reprehensible. The place that I brought it to trade it in, they were originally going to give me $1,500 for it on trade-in, but when they took a look at it, they were like, "Yeah, we're only going to give you $1,000." And I was like, "That's good." I figured they were going to say they were going to give me zero, so I took that $1,000 on trade-in. It's only for London. Public transportation in other regions not as robust. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Yeah, I was. Let's see, what other regions did I go to other than London? I was in Bath, over that way, right to see Stonehenge. But I was in. See, I went to Scotland a few times. Didn't see any of the north or anything like that. But yeah, it's not as good as London elsewhere. No, no. London's mass transit system is kind of amazing, especially to a provincial Canadian like myself. Although, of course, like all large cities of its size have tend to have a pretty good mass transit system. Just when you're living in, St. John's, Newfoundland, population of 250,000 people, you're not, you don't have quite all that much. Many in the 80s fought to stop deregulation of London public transit. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So they tried to keep it as a publicly run institution, I guess. Right? Yeah, because I think the trains in London, I believe, like the trains themselves are like contracted out, but they're still under the purview of government, but they're operated by private. Oh, I don't know. The specifics of it are not super important, I suppose. Pass Line 85 transferring operation of bus services from public to private outfits. Okay, yeah, but they've still got it is still very much like the iconic bus, of course. Yeah, but just the ease of getting everywhere. Like I still remember the exact tube changes to get from the place I lived in Surrey into Camden Market because that was my jam. Let's see. How much would you pay up front, including the upfront costs? Is that? Sorry, Esther. I've been dawdling here, but I mean, I think you see how to do these questions. Residual. Oh, this is the one I wanted to get to. Yes, part E. Okay, so residual value of the car at the end of the term will be 12,195. If Jill buys the car, how much will the buyout actually cost? She can get a 3-year loan at an interest rate of 7.4%. Now here, this is the important stuff, right? This is why I'm showing you this kind of thing. Because when you're given a question like this, and it says, "Oh, she's got to take out a 3-year loan," well, you're going to have to. Oh, sorry, you must have been loaded. Well, no, no, I rented a room in a house. It was the room that I rented in a house in Surrey cost me almost as much as I'm paying for the mortgage on my house in St. John's, and that was a room. That was not even an apartment. It's foolish. Unless you mean loaded in the Newfoundland sense, as in drunk, in which case, I mean occasionally. But yes, living in Surrey on a teacher's salary is definitely not the lap of luxury. Yes, so normally, if you had a question like E, right, you would break out, if we were in class, you'd break out your calculator, you'd go over here to the apps, you'd go to finance, go to the TVM solver, and you go into this and start plugging them in. But here we're not going to do that, right? Because like I said, from home, you're going to use your online calculator. So let me just write down the info that we need. Actually, no, I don't need to write it down. Right, because I've got this technology. All right, let's go back to it. Let's go, woo, here we go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so our loan amount then is going to be, what's her loan amount? 12,195. 12,195. There we go. Interest rate is going to be 7.4%. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about, right? 7.4% is a pretty significant loan. And then she is getting that one for 3 years. 3 years, so 3 times 12 is, of course, 36. 36 months. And then we go. Oh, monthly payment. Yes, thank you. And we see here now, your 12,195 loan has a payment of $378.78. There we go. So, how much will the buyout actually cost? Well, it's going to be $378.78 per month, right? So then if it's that per month, we're going to obviously have to times that by 36 to find out what her buyout is actually going to cost, right? So then 378.78 times 36. Click. There we go. So that one is going to be 13,636.08. Okay. So you see that she ends up paying a fair bit in interest, like over like $1,400 in interest. With a question like E, would this assume Jill would opt to buy the car once the leasing period expires, assuming she doesn't have a lease at all and just buys the car up front? Yeah. So the way we wouldn't assume that either way. Usually the question would tell us if we're going to be doing something like that. Here it explains to us that she has the option to buy out the car at the end of the lease for the residual value, and for part E, it's telling us that she is going to go ahead and do it, right? If she just buys the car up front, of course. Buying the car up front would just be this amount plus the freight and PDI times tax would just be this dollar value here. So this would be the total amount that she paid in the end, right? But now for part F here, I'm going to get on to sort of yeah, this is a good topic to bring up, Slayer Darth, because now I'm going to show you here in part F, the very end, what it would cost in total for her to buy the car in this manner, right? With paying the lease and then this other loan for the buyout after is going to be this amount plus this amount. So it's going to be 19,299.71 plus 13,636.08. Oh, kind of not letting you guys see what I'm doing on my mathematical Game Boy over here. 32,935.79. I mean, real talk, I do think that's partly why I like this calculator so much, is because the dot matrix screen is basically just like an old school Game Boy, right? It's pretty appealing, to be honest. Like the non-backlit, sort of green and also green kind of screen. Yeah, it's good stuff. Really takes you back. Okay, so how much will she have paid over the 7 years for this vehicle? Almost $33,000. Almost 33,000. If she bought it out at the start, right, she would have paid 29.2, right? When she finished, it was 32.9, right? So I mean that's nearly $4,000, right? That's like $3,800 that just up in smoke, right? Just gone, just given to the bank because she didn't have the money to pay for it up front. Now, granted, I mean, like, I don't know anybody who's get well, maybe I don't know my with people I know his finances are like, but I mean, dropping $30,000 on a new vehicle, just cold cash, straight cash, you know, it's a bit hard to do, but because you can't do it, because you don't have the money to do that, you end up owing more money, right? It's just how they get you, isn't it? Because you don't have enough money, you had to spend more money. But hey, I mean that's the way the sort of finance world goes around, hey. But I mean it's not really finance, I guess. It's loosely finance. Okay, Esther. I hope you endured my rambling there for that one. But that is how you'll answer those, and that is question 4 here. Like I said, is a really good example of the types of questions that you're going to see in this unit. Okay, now to go back over to my intro screen. Let's go over here. Stream starts soon. No, it's going. It's going already. So that was the using online loan calculators. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Yes, I'll send you those notes shortly. Well, an hour or so, as I clue up my work for this long weekend. Yes, enjoy your Victoria Day. Hope you got something relaxing to do for the weekend. I'll have to try to get outside somehow. Maybe I'll do one of the trails around. St. John's has some wonderful hiking trails, so maybe we'll look into a Sugarloaf Path or something. Maybe I'll see how the terrain is looking over there. I do like that one down by Kitty Vitty. It's a good one. Although the full loop is not great because you're like doing a pole line for part of it, which is whatever. But like the first 3/4 of it, gorgeous. Maybe self-studying. Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's a great thing to do if you enjoy that. That's a fantastic way to spend some time. But I've got a few more topics here to cover right now, so I'm going to do a little bit of Math 2101A Unit 2 test review, because Betty Ann is prepping for that test now on Tuesday. I have done a fair bit on this one, but I'm going to do a little bit more. So, if you all have a great Victoria Day, yes, you too. You Slayer Darth, yeah. Sometimes we call it May 2-4, like I talked about, but it's May 1-8. May 1-8 this year, which is a bit of an odd one. Let's do let's do just a few of these real quick. Math 2101A. This is going to be Unit 2 review. And what page was this? This is page 119. And I'm going to do question 5. Yes, I definitely didn't do this exact question before, but I mean, yeah, I don't think Betty Ann's watching there now, but I mean, when you do watch this one, I'm sure you've probably already like figured out the answers for 5 here before I've finished drawing the diagram. These are not particularly hard questions, right? So I'll just sort of breeze through a few of them. Are you serious? This is another pen going down? Man, I'm a monster on pens. It's all this handwriting. Been doing an awful lot of handwriting. Although at least I haven't had my wrist issues, my carpal tunnel act back up, so that's good, even with all this handwriting. Although I have been severely restricting the amount of video games I'm playing because of it, because I'm not able to see my physiotherapist during social distancing. So if my wrist gets bad to the point where I can't handwrite very well, that'll be really debilitating for me. So, you know, hence the extreme reduction in game playing time. But, you know, got to do what you got to do, I suppose. So we already know that 76 is equal to C, because that's over here, right? And we're told that this line is parallel with this line, which means everything around this circle is going to be equal to everything around this circle. So, of course, we know then that B is also going to equal 76, because it corresponds to the 76 down here. And then, of course, B plus A is going to be 180. So A is going to be 180 minus 76, or A is going to be 104. Right, there we go. 5B. B is a little more complicated. Still not a heck of a lot. Right. Ah. Oh, I must have. Did I pick a pen that was already partly gone? Apparently I did. I gotta bring myself to actually like properly throw out pins. Because like for me, like a pin runs out and then I don't throw it away, right? I just sort of put it aside. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll use this again later. I don't know for what, like a straw? I don't know. Anyway, this one's clearly not totally gone, but just a lot of the way gone. Yes, yes, you're right. 5A is going to be 180. Yep, exactly. 2A, 3A. This is C, and this is B, right? So we call those, yeah, consecutive interior. Okay, that's one way. Yeah, we call them the same side interior some ways, but I like consecutive interior. Yeah, that's good. Right, so what we have now, we know that our 3A plus 2A is going to equal 180, right? So it's going to be 5A equals 180, right? So then A is going to be 180 divided by 5, or A is going to be 36, right? Dividing by 5 is just like dividing by 10 and then doubling it, right? So then we know that B is equal to 3A's. So then B is going to equal 3 times 36, or B is going to equal, it's 90 plus 18, so it's 108. And then C is going to be, well, C is the same as 3A, so C is also the same as B. Yeah, so C is also going to be 108. Right? Yeah. Yes, Laird Darth, you did something there. That's actually a good thing to mention, right? Because it was just one small little error. You just put yeah, misread the 2A as 3A exactly. Yeah, you said it was 6A as 180, which as you're going through, that's a really easy mistake to make. But it does bring up some of the subjectiveness of math teaching, right? Because people, especially like, you know, Reddit shit posters and various other people on the internet have a high opinion of their own intellect. Not 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 to insult myself. Um, People tend to think that math is all objective, right? Like, oh, this math is the perfect objective thing. There's nothing subjective about it. But when you're correcting it, like if someone makes a mistake early on in the question, like something very easy, like instead of saying, very simple, like instead of saying 5A, say 6A, right? It's one tiny little mistake. But it does mean that everything that follows is then going to be wrong. Does that person get zero? Like if it's out of five, do they get zero or do they get like four or four and a half? Because all they made was one little arithmetic error, right? No self-esteem? Oh boy. No, it's not. This is a positive place. This is a place to realize the strengths of your math knowledge, right? To show up the teacher, because I give you plenty of opportunities to do that. But yeah, I think there's real subjectivity in math and in math teaching. Um, Famous for that, lol. Yeah. Well, that's you learn from the teacher, right? Learn how to do that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean here, like making that mistake, like changing it to 6A, I would probably give you four and a half out of five for that because it's just one little arithmetic mistake, and it's an arithmetic mistake because I don't seriously think that you think that 3 plus 2 is 5. It was just a careless thing you did while you're going through. So personally, I wouldn't penalize you by saying, "Oh well, everything after was wrong, so you got the whole thing wrong." That's needlessly cruel, I think. But anyway, that's part of my pedagogical lesson that math is actually subjective a lot of the time. Um, I mean, I guess whether it's correct or not is objective, but the degree of how correct is it? How close to correct is it? Now, that one's very subjective. Construct a pair of parallel sides using lines using a straight edge and a compass. There's only two different ways you can verify your lines are parallel using a protractor. I like that question, but I'm going to skip it because you're not going to see anything like that. I do really like the drawing, actually. The drawing of the bisectors and stuff is something that the academic program really lacks in, which is too bad. I do quite like that kind of stuff, right? Where you break out your math set and you get your compass, right? Like so, and you draw your arcs and then you draw your lines through them. Um, yeah, but I am going to skip it here because it's just not a part of the course that you're responsible for. Um, boy. Um, yeah, let's do question 8. Determine the value of x, y, and z in 8. So I'm going to do 8a. I'm going to cram that in over here. 8a is going to be, hey, it's a triangle like this. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as a stencil to draw it a bit quicker. That, and then we've got a line across the bottom like so. And now what are we told? We're told that this is 40, this is 45, this is, what was that one, y, this is x, and this is z, right? So this one's fairly straightforward too, isn't it? Because y is just going to equal 180 minus 40 and minus 45, of course, because we know that all the triangle makes 180. So y is then going to be 180 minus 85, which is 95. But now, just from this, what we've got, we're not told enough to get x and z. What we need is the part of the diagram that I forgot to draw, which is this. The arrows there that show that those are parallel, right? So if this is parallel with this down here, we have alternate interior. 45 and z are alternate interior. 40 and x are alternate interior. So we know that x equals 40 and z is equal to 45. I don't really cross my z's if I'm using them as a variable. Try to make my variable versions of the letters a little bit different than my just like writing version of the letter. Yeah, let's do 8b. I'm going to do 8b, and then I'm going to do one more after that, I think. I'm going to do the one on the bottom of the page here. Okay, yeah. Let's do 8b. Line there like that. I'll draw this one nice and large. Nice and large. That's an X. Um, this is a 72. This is a Y. It's a 68. And this is Z over here. All right. Well, right away, right, we see that Z is fairly easy to find. Z is, of course, going to be 180 subtract 72 and subtract 68. So 72 and 68 together make 140. So Z is going to be 40. Excuse me. So now that Z is equal to 40. We also know that this is going to be a straight line over here, right? So that Y is equal to 180 minus 68. So then Y is going to be 112, right? And now X over here, how are we going to find X? Well, we do have this line is parallel with this line, right? If those two are parallel, what can we do? What can we tell? Well, we can tell that Z and this one, this unmarked one here, those are going to be the same, right? So I'm going to do this in red because I'm sort of adding it in after. We know that this one is going to be equal to Z, which is 40, right? So because that one is 40, we now can go ahead and finish this guy. Oh, yeah, welcome back. Now we can say that X is going to be 180 minus 40 and minus 72. 40 and 72 is 112. So X, yeah, 68. Right? So we could do that. We could have also seen, right, that this is a, where this and this are parallel. We could have said that this section and this one are equal, so that X is going to be equal to 68 from down there, right? There's loads of different ways that we could do this one. I just use the alternate interior over here to get this 40 equal to the Z. But there's loads and loads of different ways that you can go about doing those ones. So now, let me see. Let's do question 11, because that was similar to some of the ones we did yesterday, and similar to some of the ones that'll be on the test as well. There is, yeah, I will give you a little bit of a preview, Betty Ann, for the test that you'll see on Tuesday. You will indeed see a question like number 11 here. Not exactly like it. Not exactly like it at all. It won't be, but it will feature diagrams, of regular polygons with, um, finding angles on them and stuff. That's close. That's like in the ballpark of regular. No, that one's the same. That's the same. That's the same. That's the same. And that's the same. This is A, B, C, D, and E. And then there's a line from A to C. Like so. Good. Okay, and I'm supposed to prove that this and this are parallel. Okay, so to prove that, we can sort of find what the angles are around those points and show that those angles are the same, right? Because this is a bisector coming through, right? This is another one. So if the angles around those are the same, then we know that the lines are going to be the same. So what are the interior angles? Right, to find the interior angles, we're going to use n minus 2 times 180 over n, where n is the number of sides. Right? So we're going to do 5 minus 2 times 180 divided by 5, which is going to be, it's going to be 3 times 36. It's going to be 3 times 180 divided by 5. It's going to be 108. Now, I probably should have known that off the top of my head, but I didn't. The interior angles of a regular pentagon. It's 108 there, right? This is going to be 108 down here. This whole one over there is 108. This is 108 here, and so on, right? now, let's see here. There are some other ways, there's some other sort of crafty things that we can do here, right? Um, we know that this is 108, and we know that because this and this are equal, right? We know we can find this angle and this angle. So I'm just going to start sort of filling in some of the stuff I know, partly because I like doing these sort of questions, and like, pointing out the different rules that we can use. So we know that those ones there, right, are going to be half of the remaining amount, because this is an isosceles triangle, which means that angle and that angle are equal. So it's going to be 72 is 108. 180 minus 108 is 72. I'm going to divide that by 2. I'm going to get this one is 36 and this one is 36, right? And I know that this full angle here and this full angle here are also 108 degrees, right? So if this bit is 36, then this other bit in here, this blue one and this blue one, are going to be 108 minus 36, going to be 72 degrees. Hold on. Hold the phone. Now, what's the exterior angle? What is indeed the exterior angle? It's going to be just 360 divided by n, right? And then indeed, what is going to be 360 divided by 5? 72. Right? So we know now, since the exterior angles are 72, if we carry this on over here, it's going to be a 72. Well, we knew that. We knew that from finding the interior angle, right? The interior angle is 108, which means this one over here, you carry this on, this is going to be 72 degrees, right? So we know that this angle and this angle are equal. We know that if we carry on, if I was to carry on and draw this out the rest of the way, right? Now I know I am overcomplicating these questions perhaps a bit, but I want to show a lot of the information that you're able to use to sort of solve these ones, right? So if I carry on and extend this line out, and if I carry on and extend this line out, we know that from here over is going to be 108, like that. And we know from here over, like this, is going to be 108 as well. Right? So I can say because there we go. Oh, scrolled off a bit. Because the angles around them are equal, because the angles around D are equal to the angles around C, we see that there's a 72 on the left and 108 on the right, we can say, if we take this line, right? And the same thing here, we've got a 72 here and a 72 here, 108 here and 108 here. So that means these lines are the same, are the same slope, therefore they are parallel, right? Again, that might be a bit of an over-engineered way to do it, but I do think that it's, and you don't need to do all those different steps, right? It's totally fine to say, to get the exterior angle, but we also, we need to find that this is, I think the best way to do it is to find that these are 36, because if these are 36, then we know that this here is 72. 72 is equal to the exterior angle over here, right? So once we know that those are equal, obviously the other side is going to be equal as well, and then those are parallel. So now we have proved here sufficiently that it is that AC is parallel to ED. Okay, I think that is a good amount to get to today. I know I said I was going to do some. I said I was going to do some algebra fundamentals, some cross multiplying. I didn't actually get to that, But yeah, I'll get to that Tuesday in the stream. Then I know the student that was working on that is not going to be watching today because they're doing something for the long weekend. So that's you know yeah, I'll take the opportunity to go get some of my Friday paperwork done. I managed to get all my correcting done this morning. Boy, this has been a heavy week for correcting, but we got there in the end, got them all done. Now I just got my paperwork to do, and then maybe I can do something to relax for the weekend. Anyway, I'll leave you with a last look at the. Hopefully, be at my next stream. Algebra is your jam. Oh, excellent, great. Yeah. I'm always doing some parts of that, and yeah, my next stream will be Tuesday because I'll be taking Monday off, right? So let me just there we go. See you next Tuesday. Now, can be your unofficial TA. Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Yeah, that the thanks for the stream. You're welcome. I have. It's a little bit cheeky, though, isn't it? See you next Tuesday. I don't know. That's what the kids, that I taught would say that phrase to me in a rude word. Mm. But anyway, I'm not overtly attempting to be rude, but it's maybe a little sly. A little sly bit there. See you next Tuesday. Uh, anyway, yeah, you're very welcome to the stream. Yeah, I hope it was mildly entertaining and mildly useful because that's what I'm going for. Same bat time, same bat channel. That's right, exactly. No, yeah, I got to work on that transition. That is real talk. That's something I should do. I have to like sort of like zooming out and in, like instead of just a fade, right? Because currently, look, I'll just transition. I'll transition back. It's just a normal little OBS fade, right? So what I should have is an animation of like a icon of like Newfoundland with some algebra written over it that just sort of speeds out and then back into the screen and then back. That'd be fantastic with the sound effect and everything. All right. Well, yeah. Enjoy your long weekend. Oh, Slayer Darth. I guess you'll be doing your studies over the weekend, but still, still take some time to enjoy it. And I'll see you again on Tuesday. Like the spinning bat silhouette. Yes, exactly. Right? Like Adam West Batman is obviously that's the they have in the TV show. Yeah, yeah, of course. Right? Like I'm really aiming for that sort of like late '60s vibe, I guess. You know. Oh, it's good. It's a classic. It's eternal, right? You don't need. It's not temporally bound, right? Could also have some onomatopoeia for when I end up getting punched in the face or something. I don't know why I never get punched in the face on stream, but like pow, zock, whammo, right? Anyway, have some onomatopoeia. Hey, that's not bad. It's a new word, right? I just made that. I'm going to copyright that one. Onomatopoeia. Anyway, yeah. Stay safe, and yeah, I hope to see you again. Oh, to see you again on Tuesday.